Hello everyone. I had this idea to make miniature from random word generator. But when I tried it, I told myself, let's add a little challenge and take 3 random objects and combine them into one scene. And this is what I got. Keychain, video game, and candy cane. I will tell you the story that I came up with for the scene at the end. But now, let's start with the video game part. Using polymer clay, conditioning the clay first. And look, I cut myself before I even start. After lots of finger grease, the clay is still hard, but we have to just work with it. Because I'm filming with daylight and the sun is about to set. As usual, I decided to make it vintage, and I chose the family computer, using liquid clay to double the thickness, because this is the thickest my clay roll can do, cutting the sides and adding some height variation. I'm not used to make symmetrical and geometric shapes out of clay, so this was a little bit stressful. I added a little bit of yellow to the white to tone it down, but it's so subtle. After every step, I make sure that every side is still straight, and the white just kept getting dirty. Adding more details with the sculpting tools and most of the red parts of the console. I left few things to do with paint at the end and made it much more simple. At this point, the clay is so dirty that I decided to paint it later. It's getting dark now, and I thought filming with natural light is better than my office light. So now it's the next day, trying to clean it with rubbing alcohol. It didn't work that much, but it did smooth the clay. It's time for the controllers. With red and yellow clay, I'm working on small metal base. It helps rotating the object without moving it, especially for the more delicate and tiny things. And I will bake the clay on top of it. As I said, I left a lot of details, and making the chords with black. Rolling the clay with something flat makes it even all the way, shaping it and adding square with the plug. And finally, making a few game tapes. Simple shapes with yellow clay. Now for the next part, candy cane. I was trying to make very simple clay cane by cutting wedges and replacing every other piece with the second color. But the white clay is Primo and the red is Colby 3, which is very soft. So the white wasn't stretching at all. I just cut out a section from the part that have white and twisted it. I think it's not bad. Cutting and shaping the candy. I made the second color and I like it much more than the first try. And finally, it's time for the last part, the keychain. Since the white is hard, it will be perfect to sculpt tiny things with it. I'm sculpting 2 keys to make mold with them, because in the scene I will have lots of keys. This will make the process a lot faster. At first, I wanted to make a random shapes with 3 different colors, but you will see later that I changed my mind. The keys are fresh out of the oven, and while it's still stuck to the base, I'm mixing 2 parts of silicone. And pressing it on top from all the sides. After curing, I remove it to reveal the perfect mold. Now I take silver clay and press it to the mold very hard to make sure I get all the details, and remove the excess with the blade. Look at it, it's so cute. Everything is cured now. It's time for the final touches with paint. Painting simple shapes on the games. And for more precision, I use toothpick for the buttons. At this point, it's getting so dark, and I didn't want to do this for another day. So I was like, let's see how my office lights will look on the camera. And I can't believe that it looks much better than the natural light.
No! God, please, no! No!
Just remind me to use it in my next video. Back to the project. I'm using makeup brush because it gives a smoother finish without brush strokes. Now the console looks cleaner, adding the final details with black and red. And it's done. For the keys, I'm measuring the wood to fit all the keys to make pegboard. Then I cut and stain the wood with acrylic paint. After gluing the keys to the board, I tried covering the excess glue with matte varnish, but it didn't work. Back to the keychain. I found these fake sprinkles in my stash. They are a lot smaller than the one I made, so I used 3 of them: a star, flower, and a Mickey head. For more extra detail, I will use this thin chain for each keychain, and it looks perfect. I will assemble everything on this table that I made a few years ago. The story is about this family-owned candy shop. This workstation for the mother, who's still learning how to make a better candy cane, but she makes the best sour candy. Every day, her son comes to the candy shop after school. He's still young and can't stay home by himself. You can say he's learning from an early age. Last night, he got a new video game for his birthday. He was so excited to play with it and couldn't wait to go home. So he decided to take it with him to the shop. His mom told him that he can't play with it until he finishes his homework. So she put it in the bottom shelf to keep her eye on it, just like the keys in front of her, because a few of them kept getting missing. And it's done. What do you guys think? Should I try it again? Tag me if you try this challenge. I would love to see your creations. And thanks for watching.